We demand an explanation for these glaring omissions. Welcome to WatchMojo.com, and today we'll be counting down our picks for the top 10 artists that should be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Before we begin, we publish new videos every day, so be sure to subscribe for more great content. For this list, we're looking at artists and bands who have yet to be named to the Hall of Fame. Despite NWA and other rap stars making it, we'll be focusing on rock musicians to save hip-hop acts for another day. If an artist has been inducted with their band and have yet to be inducted as a solo artist, they are eligible for this list. Also keep in mind that artists only become eligible for the Hall of Fame 25 years after the release of their first record, which our list accounts for. Number 10. T-Rex. In the early 70s, UK T-Rex was unstoppable. The glam rock band had a level of success not seen since the Beatles, with every single from 1970 to 1973 reaching the top 5, and the first 8 peaking at either 1 or 2. These singles, which include Metal Guru and Get It On, are still recognized and acclaimed to this day. Possessing a unique sound that crossed multiple genres, T-Rex influenced the budding alt, punk, and metal scenes, as their music inspired artists ranging from the Smiths to the Ramones to The Who and David Bowie. Despite their short run in the spotlight and the death of frontman Mark Bolan, T-Rex was an important gear in the development of modern rock music, and should be recognized as such. Number 9. Pat Benatar. Punk rock has Joan Jett, blues rock has Janis Joplin, and pop rock has Pat Benatar. She's a rock and roll queen with a sound all her own, and with such hits as Heartbreaker and Love is a Battlefield, it's hard to ignore the success Pat Benatar achieved throughout the 1980s. As the first female artist to appear on MTV, Benatar is definitely on the right side of music history. With 4 Grammy Awards and 2 multi-platinum albums under her belt, all that's missing is a spot in the coveted Hall of Fame to wrap up the singer's rock and roll legacy. Number 8. Bon Jovi. Being one of the best-selling musical acts of all time, Bon Jovi needs very little preamble. But here it goes anyway. As icons of 80s rock, Bon Jovi received fandom unparalleled at the time. People loved the music and style of John Bon Jovi and crew as they blended hair metal, hard rock, glam pop, and old-school songwriting to create a sound that was hard to hate. Bon Jovi has sold 130 million records worldwide, has 5 #1 albums, and won several major music awards including a Grammy. They've been inducted into the UK Music Hall of Fame and the Songwriters Hall of Fame, so their Rock and Roll Hall of Fame omission seems almost like a conspiracy. Number 7. Kate Bush. It's hard to think of a musical artist more in touch with the art part of the phrase than Kate Bush. For this reason, this English art rock act would make a worthy addition to rock and roll's most prestigious legion of musicians. She commanded the avant-garde scene of the 80s, and her music has stood the test of time to inspire endless modern musicians such as Coldplay, Tegan and Sara, and St. Vincent. Just one listen to songs like Wuthering Heights or Running Up That Hill showcases that Bush was ahead of her time, as well as an angelic voice that, when paired alongside her theatrical performances, wowed audiences from all around the globe. Let me steal this moment from you now. Come on, angel. Come on, darling. Number 6. The Smiths. Some would argue that the Smiths are the most influential rock band of all time, which is a dubious proclamation. But if the scope is narrowed to the last 3 decades, that title is almost certain.
I would go out tonight, but I haven't got a stitch to wear.
Today's influx of hipster-idolized bands of the alternative and indie rock genres can be traced back to the Smiths' debut in 1984. Led by the always polarizing Morrissey, the band lasted 5 years and were the Beatles of alt-rock in every possible way.
I am human and I need to be loved.
Artistically brilliant, critically adored, and publicly worshipped, the Smiths have a legacy larger than the sum of the bands they inspired. They've been nominated for the Hall multiple times, but were denied early induction, which to us is insensible.
I was happy in the haze of the drunken hour, but heaven knows I'm miserable now.
Number 5. Motörhead. A major player in the new wave of British heavy metal, Motörhead opened the floodgates for new and upcoming bands at the time to push boundaries of what could be considered music. With a punk rock inspired sound, Motörhead were certainly one of the most hardcore bands the world had ever seen, with their 1977 self-titled track offering a preview of just how loud the band could and would get later in their career. The death of iconic frontman Lemmy Kilmister was seen as one of music's greatest losses, as both him and the band behind him were creating some of the most mosh-friendly music right to the very end. Number 4. Judas Priest. Before becoming a heavy metal staple, Judas Priest was an innovative band that mixed genres seamlessly. Starting in 1969, Judas Priest evolved upon blues and rock influences to construct a heavier sound that formed the building blocks of modern metal, though this did not translate into record sales.
Breaking the law, breaking the law, breaking the law, breaking the law.
A need for commercial success brought their sound into a more conventional domain, which was the career jumpstart they needed. Judas Priest was the face of 80s heavy metal, selling millions of records and finding some chart success. Today, they are considered metal gods and are always listed among the greatest bands of the genre. How they've escaped the Hall's notice is beyond our understanding. Number 3. Dire Straits. Founded in England in 1977, Dire Straits quickly became one of the leading forces in rock music. With influences that spanned many genres, Dire Straits were refreshingly toned down in style, especially as music was becoming increasingly overproduced with the new wave revolution.
When you're gonna realize it was just that the time was wrong, Juliet.
The band found success with their debut album, and songs like Sultans of Swing and Romeo and Juliet received massive airplay in the early 80s. This culminated in their 1985 release of Brothers in Arms, which went 14 times platinum and is the 7th best-selling album in the UK and one of the best-selling in the world.
So far away from me, so far I just can't see.
Their success and prestige is hard to ignore, but the Hall of Fame has no trouble doing so. Number 2. Ozzy Osbourne. While Ozzy was inducted as part of Black Sabbath in 2006, he's more than earned his place as a solo artist. The godfather of metal is the architect of one of rock's focal genres, so it's only fitting that his name should have a solitary place in the Hall. After dismissal from Sabbath in 1979, Ozzy began a solo career that was monumentally successful. Being the only heavy metal superstar, Ozzy released 11 solo albums for sales of over 55 million, which rivals his total with Black Sabbath. His songs are part of the mainstream consciousness, and his personality is the catalyst for metal's widespread popularity. If other artists are granted solo recognition outside of their bands, Ozzy deserves that honor as well. Before we unveil our number 1 pick, here are a few honorable mentions.
Holy diver, you're the star of the masquerade. No need to look so afraid.
Number 1. Iron Maiden.
You'll take my life, but I'll take yours too. You fire musket, but I'll run you through.
The premier bands and artists of every genre, including heavy metal, are in the Hall of Fame, with the single exception of Iron Maiden. Metallica, Black Sabbath, and Iron Maiden form the undisputed Triple Crown of metal, and the incomplete crown is the Hall's most shameful sight. The band's accolades are endless: 16 studio albums, a Grammy Award, and nearly 100 million record sales, which is absurd for a metal band. Their foremost value, however, is the accessibility to fans of other genres, some of whom despise heavy metal but love Iron Maiden. They're brash, beautiful, and compelling, and the Hall of Fame has no excuse for their absence.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out these other great clips from WatchMojo and subscribe for new videos every day.